Hi, I'm Dr. David Dobson. Welcome to Conversations. As generative AI and large language models, or LLMs, become our primary tools for writing, communicating, and working, we have to ask whose language are they actually teaching us to speak? To unpack this, we are joined by Iftekhar Khalid, a PhD candidate in cultural, social, and political thought at the University of Lethbridge in Alberta, Canada. His research investigates how artificial intelligence influences English in the global South and how North American standards are reshaping the linguistic landscape of Bangladesh. Iftikhar, welcome to the show.
Good morning, David. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy to talk to you and discuss my doctoral research.
Iftikhar, you spent years teaching computer programming and software development, but you are also deeply rooted in English literature. How did you end up in the English department, and how have these experiences shaped the way you look at AI?
My background in humanities and in technology and post-colonial thought helps me to see AI from two directions. I examine that artificial intelligence, especially large language model like GPT, represent a new form of linguistic and cultural dominance. AI model trained on global English dataset, but AI operates through homogenization and promotes linguistic singularity. So I'm not just looking at AI as a technical tool. I'm looking at it as a new dominating force that shapes identity, language, and cultural space. The programming side helps me understand how large language models actually work and how they extract data and predict patterns and generate text. The combination lets me ask questions. Whose English is being standardized? Whose identity is being erased? Thus, AI is not just an innovation, it is a powerful force that disturbs the balance between English and Bangla that has survived in Bangladesh for centuries. Thank
Wonderful. Iftikhar, in your research, you describe a historical balance in Bangladesh between English and Bangla, symbolized by Rabindranath Tagore as the meeting of two great rivers, the Ganges and the Yamuna. How has this balance survived up until now, and why is the sudden rise of generative AI threatening to disrupt it?
I'm in my research, actually, I'm developing a concept called Tudam, very similar to hybridity and third space, but different from Hobby Baba. Baba describes hybridity as a process in colonialism, a third space of negotiation. But over time, over more than 2 centuries, this process has stabilized into distinct, lasting, localized form of cultural space. I call it cultural. And I will come to that uh, Rabindranath Tagore's map that's coming later. I call it culturum. Culturum is a German term. It is cultural space, its meaning. Culturum describes an established cultural zone that forms when two cultures interact over a long historical period. It refers to a cultural space shaped through sustained negotiation and active agency of local community. Bangladesh is a cultural space, and where Bangladeshi English has been developed over 200 years. Bangladeshi English is not a felt copy of British English. It bears the mark of interaction between English and Bangla. In more than 2 centuries, Bangladesh have learned to live with Bangla and English.
Mhm.
I can give you an example, like a Bangla poet, Rashid Ashkari mentioned, Bengali is our sweet home and English is our word. So Bangla carries emotion,
Mhm.
identity,
Mhm.
and everyday's life,
Mhm.
while English carries education, business, administration, and global connection.
Mhm.
So that reciprocity helps create a stable cultural space. I again say that what I call cultural culture space, where Bangla and English interact over centuries. But generative AI breaks this pattern. AI model absorbs Bangladeshi English as data and returns only standardized English. AI, because of its structural dependence, promote one standard form of English. So the old balance is disrupted because North American norm, especially US English, embedded in AI system that shares the Bangladeshi English linguistic environment. Yeah.
Right. Iftikhar, when we talk about global English, we often forget how localized it becomes in places like South Asia. How does the linguistic environment of Bangladesh differ from the Western North American standard that dominate our digital spaces?
Here I will give some example.
Mm,
Like Bangladeshi English is tied to Bangla culture.
mm,
Just I said that there is an interaction between English and Bangla. So
mm,
Bangla grammar syntax have influenced the creation of
mm,
Bangladeshi English. I can give you an example. Like there are some characteristic expression
mm,
in Bangla
mm,
which people wish to express in English. So sometimes we speak some ideas in two sentences
mm,
because of cultural context,
mm,
and we want to express it also in English. So English has similar expression, but they express in one sentence maybe. Like I pronounce Bangla fast, like chilo ekta shomoy jokhon. Okay, if we translate in English, it says there was a time when. It means there was a time when. So if I turn it to a Bangladeshi English, then it says there was a time when people carried their entire world in a single suitcase. But
mm,
if I make it a standard English, then it will say like people used to carry the entire world in a single
mm.
suitcase.
Yeah.
So there's a cultural context coming
Mm,
from there were the time
mm,
when. So another example, if you live in North America, you may not understand that is official. This is formal English. Like, please do the needful. Okay, your official says, please do the needful. If you are from North America or from even Western Europe, you would not understand what I'm saying. But I know what it says. So this is actually Vira's Kastus outer circle varieties of English.
mm,
And your next thing is, I actually like North American English.
mm,
Okay, Bangladesh has many American curriculum school also.
mm,
So issue is not about rejecting American English. The problem is
mm,
what happens when AI turns language into something formulaic, something standardized.
yeah.
In my research, I show that AI systems are built on standardization. They treat language as algorithms, like algorithm object, not a cultural one. When we rely heavily on AI, everyone's writing starts to look the same. The system pushes us toward one predictable style, one
Mm,
tone, one rhythm. Like in other words, your writing and my writing like begin to be converse.
mm,
We lose the natural difference that
mm,
comes from culture, personality, and lived experience.
mm,
So I imply from my initial research that AI generated content is used in Bangladesh media and education. Children are learning from AI models.
yeah.
And when a newspaper use AI to generate article,
Yeah.
students rely on AI for writing. They're
Mm,
exposed to homogenized
mm,
standard English. It
yeah.
implies that AI promotes US academic writing culture,
Mm,
replaces local cultural references.
mm,
It implies that AI threatens not just Bangladeshi English, it
mm,
also erases identity, memory, and cultural
yeah.
diversity.
Yeah. For language, it's a culture which matters the most. The culture which goes in the language, which make the language very rich and meaningful. Iftikhar, you mentioned a shift from those historical rivers of the Ganges and Yamuna to the Mississippi. Can you explain what you mean by this metaphor and what is the linguistic thread of data colonialism that your PhD work is addressing?
So I use Mississippi River Basin to explain how AI handle language.
Okay.
So now let me explain
Mm,
Ganges and Jamuna first.
mm,
In Bangladesh, two major rivers are the Ganges and Jamuna. And
yeah.
Rabindranath Tagore, a Bangla poet, writer, Nobel laureate, described the flow of the two rivers like Bangla and English.
Mm,
So I named the estuary of Bangla and English as a stable cultural zone,
mm,
cultura. Okay. So AI as a new dominating force now poses a new threat to the cultura because AI promotes linguistic homogeneity. I contrasted the Ganges Jamuna estuary with the Mississippi River basin. If you look at the Mississippi system,
mm,
you'll see all tributaries flows into one dominant river,
mm,
which empties into the Gulf of Mexico.
mm,
So, like the Mississippi, AI extract data from around the world. It processes it through US-centric
mm,
lens. The output is standardized English. AI does function like the Mississippi. It
mm,
absorbs diverse Englishes, Bangladeshi, Nigerian, Canadian, Singaporean, Indian, but returns only one dominant form, standardized US English. So Mississippi stands for North American, particularly US, cultural, linguistic, and technological influence. In contrast, the Ganges and Jamuna symbolize the linguistic, cultural, historical root of Bangladeshi English. So this is actually I try to explain. Yeah.
yeah. Very interesting. Um, Iftekhar, you co-author a paper, Choose Your Poison, the company store versus data colonialism. For our listeners, a company store is a system where an employer owns the housing and stores, keeping workers in permanent debt. How does that economic trap map onto our relationship with AI companies? Are we paying for AI services with the very data they took us for free?
Oh, this is related to my thesis,
Yeah.
but this paper is from our humanities innovative lab,
Mm,
and we introduce the company town metaphor to theoretically explain the dominance of artificial intelligence. So not saying we're not saying that AI dominance is digital colonialism. We are saying this AI is company town. Okay,
mm,
we really differ from those post-colonial thinkers who are thinking that AI is the extension of the colonialism. It is company town. Like historically, company town built and controlled by single employer. The employer controlled housing, schools, stores, even law enforcement. Workers are dependent and locked into the system. This classic rent-seeking system, this is a company that extract value not by producing more, but by controlling infrastructure that people could not avoid. So today's tech giant operate like digital company towns. They provide services such as they give us digital housing, email, marketplace, social network, and AI tools. We use their free services, but their economic model is identical to the old company town. The tech company charges rent not in money, but in data,
mm,
in attention,
mm,
on dependency. So AI intensifies this rent shaking structure.
mm,
Every prompt, document, voice notes, and
mm,
interaction become extractable data
mm,
that reinforce the company's dominance. We
mm,
think we are in control, while control lies with the technology companies. So
mm,
AI intensifies this trap. Every interaction strengthens the company's dominance. So yes, we are
mm,
paying for AI with the very data it
mm,
took from us for free. It is a digital version of the old economic trap.
Yeah.
Yes,
To investigate this shift, you develop corpus analysis workflows to compare AI generated text with human written text. Can you walk us through your methodology? How do you trace North American linguistic influence on Bangladeshi writers?
I'm collecting all text of a
Mm,
particular genre from a single year,
okay.
like entire corpus of a genre. Like it ranges from 2003 to 2026.
Mm,
So I selected areas like newspaper, academic journal, and I comparing and analyzing a corpus of a year with another year corpus. So I'm dealing with large sample of corpora from different
mm,
years.
mm,
So for my research, which I'm still working on, I can mention that I need to have a pattern approach to
mm,
find the influence of standardization and convergence in a corpus.
mm,
So I look for formulaic syntax like discourse marker and similar pattern
mm,
that shows up clearly in corpus analysis. So which shows that Bangladeshi cultural references disappear from the corpus.
mm,
By this pattern of different corpora, I can trace exactly how AI pushes Bangladeshi writers toward a
mm.
US-centric English corpora.
Iftekhar, you are working with the Canterbury Tales and the Humanities Data Inquiry projects. How do digital humanities tools allow you to analyze modern LLMS in ways that traditional social linguistics could not?
So I'm very lucky to have the supervisors
Mm,
like I have actually. So my work with the Canterbury Tales project taught me how to collation tools, how to use collation tools. And I
mm,
can understand the apparatus tags for transcription and can find witness and manuscript variants
mm,
and can conduct corpus analysis to study variance or variation across the
mm,
manuscript. So it is a knowledge about variant. That is the
mm,
main thing, how it's happened in the manuscript. Like I'm working on the medieval manuscript. So through this contributors project. So the same type of variants, understanding, like variant understanding, let me study corpora from different year as if they are a new kind of manuscript edition. This is the contributors project.
mm,
And through the humanities data inquiry projects, I learned a lot, like how how humanists approach data. Okay,
mm,
they consider data like as a contested conceptual object. There is a huge discussion going on humanities data and their resistance to data. Okay, so as a digital humanist, I develop and use Python tools to analyze corpus, and that let me see deeper pattern such as
mm,
convergence, eraser,
mm.
stylistic flattening, and algorithmic biases. So I'm very happy. Like I should be grateful to work with these supervisors.
Yeah,
They're very kind. I should tell the world actually.
for sure. So, can I ask you, what are you discovering when you analyze AI models versus human writers? What trends are starting to emerge regarding vocabulary, syntax, or tone?
So I told you, like like vocabulary alone or
Mm,
tone
mm,
does not help you to much to find AI standardization. So in other words, if you approach through dictionary, like if you want to develop American dictionary, UK dictionary, Bangladeshi dictionary, English
mm,
dictionary, basically they're all same dictionary. So
mm,
vocabulary or tone may help you while you are analyzing smaller text. But if you deal with a corpus of an entire genre, you need to use pattern approach.
mm,
Usually AI use
mm,
standardization, that is pattern, what
mm,
they use. like I say this AI may use because I'm still working on that, but
Mm,
till now, yes, that's like
mm.
your vocabulary or dictionary approach don't help much.
Iftikhar, if LLMs are consistently outputting a harmonized English, does this imply that AI is actively working as a tool of linguistic colonization rather than global connection?
That is a very good question, actually. I argue that AI promotes linguistic singularity and breaks reciprocity. What reciprocity mean?
Mm,
I will explain again. Like colonialism imposed English, it's
mm,
true, but still it absorbed local influence.
mm,
Like we usually don't see that way, but let's look that way. Colonialism involved reciprocity. It
mm,
may be limited, unjust.
mm,
Like you will see word like banglo, pajama, shampoo, curry, lakh, hartal, Jagannath, they entered English. So
mm,
the British did not just teach us English. They went back home, lived in bungalows, at curry, adopted colonial form into their everyday life.
mm,
Okay? The difference is AI imposes English but reject the local influence.
mm,
It is one-way system with no negotiation, no hybridity, no cultural exchange. That is a global, what should I say?
mm,
It's a global company town. It is not
mm.
global connection. AI is a
Yeah,
new dominance. Okay.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Iftikhar, as an instructor, how does this research change how we evaluate students who use AI writing assistants? How do we prevent non-native English speakers from being unfairly penalized by westernized AI standards?
We encourage actually, we like to see, evaluate ideas,
Mm,
arguments, or originality first and treat the grammar as secondary because this is the difference between regional or local English and standard English. We should ask students to show their thinking
mm,
outline, notes, drafts, so we can see the process. Okay,
mm,
not just final polished uh,
mm,
text. And almost importantly, we should recognize non-standard English. It's not wrong. It is part of the global English ecosystem. So we don't adjust our evaluation method. Like we need to look at it deeply. And AI will push, like not me only, everyone towards a one standardized writing style.
mm,
So I wrote a white paper. Like it's white paper mean kind of policy paper, but I'm
mm,
not in the government or not as a like
mm,
decision maker. So this is a kind of white paper I wrote for them to
mm,
protect non-native English. I mentioned that we need to both have both
mm,
top-down and bottom-up approach, that we need to involve local communities, parents, government, not governmental organization like NGOs, local media, so that we can protect our local variety of English. And this is actually a huge task. Thus, my research actually help us or help like us actually to protect non-native speaker and their voice rather than threaten them. Okay.
Iftikhar, as someone who has worked in academic publishing, you see how scholarly writing is gate-capped. If academic journals start using AI to pre-screen or copy edit submission, what happens to scholars from the global south who write in non-standard varieties of English?
So I named the journal name. This is journal incubator. It was from
Okay.
the Department of English of University of Lethbridge. So editors and sub-editor read the submitted paper first. Okay. Editors do not look for grammar. I see that, like, or the standard English. This suggest that thing after the review happen. Okay. Once over that is review done, then they go for the like English style, like when the copy editing happened. So I experienced that journal incubator editors were very empathetic in handling these types of situation. However, if a journal uses AI to pre-screen submission, scholars from the global south will be filtered.
mm,
I think they will filter it out fast. Okay,
mm,
so AI flags non-standard English as incorrect,
mm.
even when AI can recognize it. I don't say that AI cannot recognize it. I can explain that
Yeah.
how is the difference between colonialism and dominance of AI. So I argue that AI does not produce reciprocity. Like AI has capacity to define what Bangladeshi English is. AI can simulate Bangladeshi English. It can tell Bangladeshi that what their English should look like. And however, Bangladeshi use like their uses a lot of uh, standardized English. It will not change or alter American English
Mm,
because in the cultural logic of the system, that is standardized American English. So
mm,
the problem is not that American English dominates. The
mm,
problem is that Bangladeshi English does not have an impact back on US English.
mm,
I can give you another example from
mm,
our like experience. Like for South Asian AI programmer at a US firm has a formal voice, okay, but zero impact on the cultural logic of the system.
mm,
They build the AI or AI system, but they must code in the US standard paradigm.
mm,
So in the current AI system, journals should not use AI to pre-screen submission for non-native user English
mm.
writer.
Iftikhar, your PhD is in cultural, social, and political thought. How does your research bridging political theory, post-colonial linguistics, and computer science help us understand the future of human communication in a way that siloed fields cannot?
Yes, that is also very deep question actually. Not only good question, deep question. So I'm developing, or you can say working with two theoretical ideas. One is cultural,
Mm,
that is a this is a German term I told you, and established cultural space. And the company town, this is a rentier system. So these two theories will definitely contribute to the CSPT research. This theory shows that in tech companies, AI is not just a technical tool. It is a political factor that reshapes linguistic identity. By bridging political theory, linguistic, and computer science, I I should say, or like I can reveal how digital infrastructure reproduce colonial hierarchy. I can give you an example from colonial hierarchy and its reproduction i- in AI. Like it's from Bengal, from India actually. In 1835, Thomas Macaulay minutes on Indian education made English a medium of instruction. And with an explicit goal, I should quote, like with an explicit goal, quote, a class of person, Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in moral, and intellect. So, in the colonial system, Macaulay wanted brown people who are in every way English. Macaulay felt because human contact produce hybridity cultura. It produces Indian English, it
mm,
produces Bangladeshi English, or other English varieties in South Asia. So I argue AI realizes Macaulay's dream more perfectly than Macaulay himself.
mm,
Macaulay failed, but AI succeeds
mm,
because there is no contact, only computations.
mm,
So that is a that would be core contribution,
mm.
like how AI continues the colonial project through
Yeah,
language.
yeah. Wonderful work, Iftikhar. What is the next for you as you complete your PhD?
That is very hypothetical. Yeah. So will work with Bangla in the future. This if I have opportunity and funds to work on the language. For example, Bangla language has the same challenges. Like if you standardize formal Bangla as a standard and other varieties of Bangla like
Mm,
Dhakaya Bangla,
mm,
Chittagonian Bangla, Bharendro, that is from the Rajshahi and North Bengal area, and also Rangpuri Bangla, they are in danger actually.
mm,
These varieties have memories,
mm,
stories, histories. This will be lost in the future.
mm,
I I actually want to work on the linguistic sovereignty of
mm,
them, and I
mm,
want to uh, keep myself working on the linguistic sovereignty because this is the age of AI. This is a
mm.
very different. We don't understand yet. We'll see in the future maybe. So I want to continue my work with local Englishes also. I wanted to collaborate with the digital humanists, linguistic and technologists to develop ethical tools and framework that protect local Englishes and challenges the digital company towns that is new. And my next step is to create a research group or join a research group that focus on AI, language, and post-colonial future. Like, okay, so lot of plan. I don't know how much I can do. So it's
Well,
like that.
it sounds like you have a great journey ahead, and the academic community is going to benefit greatly from your work. Iftikhar, thank you so much for sharing your work, and we wish you all the best in completing your PhD.
Thank you. Thank you so much to you, David.